Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first Solex Expo event. We are really happy to have you here with us. On this session, we are going to cover what is Fuse Management Central. And of course, right after, we will jump into the demo, discuss a little bit the roadmap and the licensing model, and of course, a Q&A session. And just let me advance that even during the session, you can ask questions. We are always pleased to interact with you and get to know you better, understand your needs, understand the use cases, discuss use cases. So at any moment, even though we have a Q&A session in the end, you can always ask questions. Let's start with this slide, which was a question that we have asked on our last webinar to our customers. We have asked of which of the following operational areas could best support their content suite and extended ECM management. So either administration on monitoring or reporting, or why not all of the above? And this is basically what Fuse Management Central is. It's a web administration platform for OpenText Content Suite or Extended ECM, which enables a centralized management for all your OpenText infrastructure. And due to the architecture that we have built, we are separating the system administration, let's say, from the business or content administration. And what does this mean? This means that a content suite administrator does not really need access to content server itself. It can do everything on a very easy way with a strong touch of user experiencing directly from our platform. Either looking at logs, stopping, starting services, wherever it is, everything is centralized on our solution. And thinking a little bit on the future, because of course it's also important, even though we are currently only covering content suite platform, only content server, our goal is to expand this coverage not only just to content server, but also to archive center or archive server, and to Brava and to Blazon. This will enable you to have a single place. This is why also we have called Fuse, to join or blend to form a single entity. So instead of you having to manage all these different solutions on their own administration interfaces, you can do it all on a single place. And basically, this is what Fuse is all about. Talking a little bit about the value proposition, and we are supporting in these 4 major points. So Fuse is a run anywhere application. It's a fully cloud native, but of course you can also run it on premises, either Windows or Linux. This can be installed anywhere. And of course on Google Cloud, Amazon, Azure. This was a solution built from the ground up. We didn't pick up an existing platform and tweak it or adapt it to work with content server. No, we have developed from the ground up, and it was developed specifically for OpenText. The second point, and very important, is that you have the full control. And this means that either you have your internal teams with several persons or only one, or you are working with the managed service provider, the gap between these teams or between the persons will be filled with Fuse, because Fuse is always displaying everything up to date. So everyone in the team, either mixed teams or different entity teams, everyone knows the same, everyone is up to date, and everyone is in control and knows exactly what's happening and can, of course, act based on that information. The third point is insights, and again, control. You have everything and everywhere. And basically, this means that we are managing from the highest level down to the atomic level. Fuse gives you a layered perspective, so you can see things from above, or you can go deeper on the different layers down to the atomic level. And the good thing, and I think this will please several of you, is that we really don't rely on log files to get our information. So you can switch off all your log levels and Fuse will continue to work just as expected as the powerful solution it is to manage the powerful solution that OpenText provides to you, which is Content Server. And because of all of these 3 points, you will have a much more streamlined administration. Why? This is a unified system management. You can connect once and manage it all. And because all entities will know each other, so every time you touch something on archive server, you will, on the content server side, of course, inside Fuse, we'll also know what's happening. So it's a really unified experience for you. So on this site, and this is one of our main concerns, is the amount of time that administrators spend managing their systems. I mean, to identify and to solve issues that all platforms have. But focusing on content server, as you can see, most of the people reply that spend between 10 and 50 hours per month just to identify and, of course, to consequentially solve issues. And this is a lot of time. If you think it's more than a week, it's really a lot of time. So our goal, and this is what really moves us to build Fuse, is that using Fuse Management Central, you can save up to 70% of operational costs. And this is huge. This is really huge because we are pinpointing issues, preparing you to be more proactive and less reactive. I mean, you will know things that are starting to happen before they actually happen, and you can react. You can configure that small piece that is starting to slow down or having health issues or something is not correct. You can quickly act on this before users even open a ticket on your system. So in why Fuse Management Central? 3 pillars, basically to increase efficiency on your teams. So you will see that the administration learning curve will be decreased. So a new quick start for new team members, centralized system administration. Fuse really helps to pinpoint past issues, not only current, but also past issues. And this is very good for the continuous improvement. Well, and several other features. The second pillar is about reducing the MTTI and MTTR. I mean, the mean time to identify and the mean time to resolve. And this is important, not only for when you manage this internally, but also when you open tickets with OpenText. So if you better inform the OpenText support with more information, they will be also more prepared to give you a quick answer. Of course, if Fuse cannot solve it, you can always go to OpenText support. But the maximum information, and as Fuse give you 360-degree view and granular view of everything, picking up a screenshot or a logs package, you can send to OpenText support, and for sure they will be answering your issues much more quicker. And also to reduce risks. Why? Because Fuse does not require an account with administrator privileges, so your managed service provider can continue to manage your infrastructure without the risk of, let's say, by accident, visualizing any sensitive content like human records or insurance records, whatever it is. So those are the 3 main pillars that support the Fuse Management Central need. And well, let's jump to the fun part, which is the live demo. I will try to not be too particular in some things, but let's try to cover at least almost all the features. And starting with the login, we didn't invest almost any time developing a user management capabilities inside Fuse, and because Fuse is about managing OpenText solutions, why not also leveraging the OpenText directory services? And that's it. We have developed a connector for directory services, so you can use Fuse with directory service just like you currently use Content Server with directory service. Your users are there, and no matter which authentication handler they are using, you simply connect Fuse there and you map your directory services groups to the Fuse Management Central roles. And let's log in with OT admin, with the super admin. And once you log in, the first look you have is the dashboard, and the dashboard gives you an overview over all your infrastructure, all your OpenText infrastructure. But you can filter by cluster or environments, just like we call it environments because usually it's something that customers are more used to naming them. So if I want to filter all this data just for my production environment, I have here everything is aggregated data from all my systems from production environment, but is now filtered towards my selection, and I can select 2 or even more environments. So as you can see, we have several indicators here. Again, those are aggregated in average metrics, so performance, availability, threads usage, active sessions, and we are visualizing right now live data from all of these systems. So all of these systems right now are dispatching metrics to Fuse Management Central, and Fuse Management Central is computing them and display them to you. So we will have at a glance, let's say on the dashboard, the major components that really support your business, like workflows and wherever it is. So, and it is split in mainly 3 parts. The overview, which has like the core components of Content Server, not all, but the core ones. The alerts, and we have a list of alerts grouped by system, which you can expand and observe which alerts is this system now as active, or this one. We have several alerts. Storage provider free space, or storage provider read or write performance. Some agent next run has failed. Some distributed agent is also offline or worker. We have a bunch of alerts ready to be ready to watch your infrastructure and to be triggered whenever something happens. And also the bottom area is the operations area. And by operations, we call operations by every administrative tasks that Fuse does to your infrastructure. So every time you restart, let's say a content server, or you apply, or you disable an agent, or you increase the threads, every single configuration action you done, we call it an operation. And you can bulk several operations in order for them to be dispatched to one or several systems, and you can even schedule operations. And this gives you an always up-to-date view and audited of everything that is happening. For instance, this operation has failed, and if I click on it, you will see that I have applied configuration. It was this user, but some of them were canceled actually because some systems were not enabled, but some of them has actually worked. As you can see, usually we have 2 types of visualization. The simple mode, which is this one, does not show so many information, but it shows only the required information, so you know if it was good or if it was not that good. Or you can see the full operation log, where you can see what has been changed and by who and when, and what has happened. Well, but let's move on. So as I said, this is the dashboard page. This is the top layer of Fuse Management Central. And let's say that we are role playing, and that I am an IT administrator, and I have several alerts here. And let's pinpoint on these alerts, and let's go one level down, and let's see how is my production environment or cluster. As I click on my production environment, I'm now seeing a 360-degree view of all my cluster. I can see performance, availability indicators, again, an alerts list. And if you notice, every time you over an alert on the right on this list, it is basically pinpointing where the problem is. If you notice, so this error is coming from Jedi number 1, but this error is actually coming from Jedi number 2. So you don't need to guess where this alert is coming from. You have your system characteristics from the application part to the application cluster ID, database, CPU, total memory. Everything is fully logged here. You have also a list of systems which you can take actions on it. I can quickly apply actions to one system, or I can apply actions to several systems. let's say I want to restart my full cluster or only these systems. I can select the ones I want, and I can click restart, and this will ask me if I really want to restart. And the components, also all components of my cluster, the processes. So you can see, as you can see, we have now more details of this over the system object volume, distributed agents, the processes, I mean the loaders and agents. And by loaders and agents, it means that you have, let's say, a catalog or an inventory. For the first time, you can see how your agents are distributed in your cluster, as well as the loaders. So you could quickly see how how are your agents distributed amongst your infrastructure. Also the IPools concerning to the system object volume. Going to the storage providers, as you can see, we are monitoring every single piece of content server, but we are not only monitoring, but constantly testing. I mean, we see that it is working, but we are forcing it to work in order to anticipate situations. So as you can see, these 5 storage providers, I have provoked this error, but these 5 storage providers are in error, which means that they are really not available for any of the systems of this environment. But only one is available, is this database storage, an internal one, where you can see from all my systems the average read out output and also the write output. And you can see for the last 24 hours, as you can see. And also, well, a glance of all the operations specific for this environment. But let's go again one level deeper. Let's enter on a specific system from this specific environment. And again, you have, as we are lowering on the layers of your infrastructures, we are now on a system which is a piece of the cluster, and you can see again a 360-degree view of all the most critical pieces inside of your system. You can see the threads usage, several threads metrics like requests, queue time, queue depth, longest requests, also the top 10 longest requests. This is very useful, and please notice that you are seeing this at real time. You don't need to collect log files and then process them in an Excel sheet or something like this. You can see it here right now without the need of activating something and then deactivating something. Everything is always captured by Fuse Management Central. You can see we have memory, CPU, and of course also the system disks, but all disks are here. Also the processes, this is everything that this system is currently loaded and running. I can see that the loader component, we have several things loaded in memory. Also all my agents, and actually one agent, it has an alert. And if I come to these alerts, again, when you over an alert, as you can see, this is switching the cards or the widgets. So this is an application disk. This is an application disk usage, and as you can see, it is highlighting my system disks widget, and the same for the agent. So this is an agent alert, is pointing me that this is where the problem is coming. Distributed agents, I mean, this is a full inventory, like a 360-degree view over your system. And the good thing is that you can really interact with it. And let me show you one case. Let's talk about logs. And as I said, we really don't require logs, but we do support logs. So let's say that you want to change your log level of this system. You just need to click the quick configurations button, and this pop-up will appear, and it has, let's say, the quick configurations usually associated with this widget. And if I want to change my log level just for info, I could click apply, and it will be instantly applied to this system, or even better, I can apply to this system or more systems. So let's say that I want to apply this to all my production environment, all my production systems. I will click apply configurations, and as you can see, this is bulk applying everything into my infrastructure with the status. So some systems are really not replying correctly, but I will have an audit of everything. As you can see, now my log level is changed for this specific system, and I can even remotely browse log files. So let's say that I will open, let's say, some thread logs. And well, we are loading 500 lines at a time. So if you scroll up, as you can see, we are displaying 500 of more lines. So if I scroll up, this will load the remaining lines. And you are always up to date with the total warnings and errors inside the log file. So you have, and they are even highlighted. And everything is, well, you can configure to auto refresh the file. And as you can see, we haven't yet logged in Content Server or done a remote desktop session or visualizing a file system, anything else. We have done everything till now only using Fuse Management Central. But let's roll back our log level for this system, because we really don't need logs to get our information. So I will disconnect the logs and let's continue with our presentation. Also the storage provider, but take into account that we were seeing the storage provider status at the cluster level, but now we are seeing at this specific system level. And this is very important. Why? Because as you have several systems across your network, some systems might have a better performance at storage providers or even with the database, and you will be able to know at the atomic level how are they performing, and also how is their health. So as you can see, at this specific system, we have a read output right now live of a 2.41 and the write output of 2.35. And this is constantly changing. As you can see, we are seeing live data. But let's consider a new use case and talking about administration. Let's say that you are dealing with the system with always at 100% threads usage. And this means that your users or your applications that are consuming content server services are suffering from bad performance on this. This means that probably you will need to increase your threads. And usually, just like with any setting inside Fuse, all settings are done. We have always the quick mode and the advanced mode. So the quick mode, if I want to change my threads, let's say to 12, to have more bandwidth to dispatch my request, I could quickly apply this. As you can see, this is really easy. But as this configuration require restart, I could apply and restart now, but maybe this is business hours and I don't want to affect my business, and I can come here and schedule it. And I can schedule it, let's say we have presets, let's say to next Saturday night, and please notify me only if it has failed. And I can even add more emails, let's say from an external consultant or someone. And I click schedule, and this specific settings of threads usage is now scheduled to run next Saturday at midnight. So you can see the power of this from a single interface. You can really apply settings now, or you can schedule them, and just with a couple of clicks and you have everything. But let's say that you want to see more configuration, not just the quickest ones, and you are a more advanced administrator and you really want to tweak all the parts of content server. We have the more configurations hyperlink, which will drive you to all the configurations of content server. You can even filter for them, let's say email. And when I write email, everything is expanded and is highlighted. So you can see where is your email related settings very quickly. So as you can see, this is really time that you will save. And once more, because we are on a system level, but from a component level, we can also go one level deeper. And let's see our thread details. So right now we are seeing a live version or a live view of my current threads usage from this system. And as you can see, no one is doing nothing on this system. So the threads are 0% usage, but we can see some statistics here. And let me show about one of the cool features of Fuse. So, and as I said, Fuse shows you real-time metrics and your real-time performance and health check of your systems. But if you want to look back in time, let's say that yesterday your system was really slow for some reason, and someone else came to you saying that the system was really slow yesterday, and you need to analyze that. Currently, as you know, you will need to collect log files again. Everything runs a lot on log files, or talk with the storage team, or talk with the DBA team. And well, you need to do some kind of a war room and try to investigate where the bottleneck is. With Fuse, you can see live data or you can see past data. And by using the time machine feature, you can do this really quickly. Let me just show you an example. As you can see here, my memory had a spike at this moment. So if I want, I can zoom in at this point. And as you can see, all my UI has now changed. We are no longer visualizing real-time data. We are seeing the time machine. And actually, we are seeing the 10th of September at 7:52 a.m. We are no longer seeing today's data, but past data. And I can see all data, all my system status, performance, health, everything on a correlated view. So I can navigate anywhere with the time freezed at this specific moment. So I can go to the dashboard, to the systems. Let's imagine that for some reason, one system was really offline. So you could see that in this moment in time, the system was offline. Or you can fine tune the time, your point in time. So if you want to see, let's say at 9 a.m. from 10 of September, let's put 9 and click OK. And now we have navigated to 9. So as you can see here, we have a small spike here, and I can again zoom in, and let's say that I want to know what was happening at this moment. Why were my threads working and they were at 4.8% usage? Okay, let's navigate inside one machine. Probably it's not this one. Let's see. Okay, so this system was actually offline at the time. Let's look into the other one, like this one, the 176. And probably it was this one that has that slight usage. No, it was not. Probably it was the average of all my systems. So let's disconnect the time machine and let's go and discuss a little bit the configuration policies. And what is the configuration policies? You can change configurations, but you can really collect packs of configurations. So here you can see that I have one configuration policy applied to this system called my date settings policy. And when I click on it, I will navigate to this setting. And as you can see, this is like a way of having configuration templates ready to be applied. But most important than that is that we are also monitoring your configurations. As you can see, this policy, the front-end role, we have some non-compliant systems. And you can see that this system is not compliant with this role. And when I click the view details, I can quickly see which configurations are not compliant. And as you can see, my front-end role says that the agent subsystem should be disabled, but in fact it is enabled. Or the OT core share agent should be disconnected, so should be turned off, but it is actually turned on. So in order to have my system fully compliant again, I just need to click this apply policy and it will be applied, and I will know for sure that all my defined configurations are in place and working as expected. And what about the Fuse itself administration? So we have a page just for like our own admin pages where you can see your license information, some general information. You can, for instance, customize your logo on your application, some security settings, the OTDS integration. As you can see, we are mapping OTDS groups with Fuse roles, the alert manager. So here you can customize or you can toggle all your alerts thresholds, and also you can enable or disable them. Also the notification channels, and very important also, Fuse also monitor itself. So I can see if the Fuse metrics database or the mail server, anything is working as expected. And this is very important. And let's talk a little bit about reporting, just to finish. We have built a service report, which is a ready to deliver report, and you will see this on the other session with my colleague Paulina. This is a ready to deliver report, which is very helpful and shows, let's say, an overview and also detailed information about your clusters. Well, and let's say that you want to deliver to your CTO the current status, let's say an health check analysis of one or more clusters. You can quickly generate a service report and deliver to your CTO or even to your customers if you are a managed service provider. Well, and that's it. Let's continue with our presentation. Just to highlight some of the features. So centralized administration, this is very important. You have a console with single bulk or even scheduled system operations, everything in a single place. Application monitoring, improved user experience. This is fully cloud native. It's plug and manage. We have the time machine, and this is also important. Especially you have the control. Talking about the roadmap, and I just want to show you again one slide from our previous webinar. This is very important. This is in order for you to really understand that your opinion really matters to us. In this question, we have asked which of our roadmap features will have more priority to our customers. And as you can see, OpenText Archive Server has really went to the top. All customers said that this should become next on our Fuse release. And as you can see on our roadmap, this is our current version, which was already delivered. And you can see that the version 1.2 is in progress. It's currently being developed, which will have alert details, the system object volume management, the threads and threads query and drill down, and a lot of more cool stuff. And as you can see, starting as of release 1.3, we will have Archive Center compatibility, meaning that next January, the release that will come out will start to having Archive Center capabilities. So these same features that you now have for Content Server, you will be able to have them also for Archive Server, and everything in a consolidated environment. And we believe that this will please a lot, and a lot of customers will thank us because of this, because we are constantly fusing several platforms and features and blending them together in order to seem as one. About the license model, and we can discuss this later in a separate session if you want. Our licensing model is attached to the named user license, but don't worry about pricing. This does not cost the same as Content Server. This costs a tiny fraction of Content Server user license. This is really cheap compared to the value that it brings to you. And this is also important to say that Fuse does not distinguish between production or non-production systems. In a Fuse world, all systems, either from prod or non-prod, are systems. They don't differentiate yet between these two worlds. Why? Because you can combine all of your configurations, let's say a policy, you can arrange them on Q&A and then dispatch them to prod. So everything is interconnected. For us, it's quite transparent. Well, I'm really very interested to hear from you. I would like to have questions. Please interact with us. This is really what makes either on this chat channel or in a different chat channel or on a specific meeting just for you. We are open to know your suggestions, your needs. Well, we are here to help you and to support you. And Just one last slide showing some of our customers, happy customers, so Vetropack and Givoda. Those are two big customers that are already leveraging all the potential of Fuse Management Central, and thus spending less time on less important things and let Fuse do the work for them, and spending more time doing more productive things. And thank you very much. We will be here during all the events. Please contact us, interact with us, sending message. We will be more than happy to know more about you and more about your needs. Thank you very much.